Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side-saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed, high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Coming to you live this Monday morning, which is January number 8 in the year of our Lord 2018. It is a good day to be alive. Well, every day is a good day to be alive. Even when you're not alive, it's a good day to be alive. But we're actually here in New England, northern New England, we're starting to warm up a little bit after being in the throes of nearly a month of frigid sub-zero temperatures. Believe it or not, this is actually kind of funny. By the end of this week, we're expected to hit somewhere between 40 and 45 degrees. Yeah. I know it is going to feel like a summer heat wave after multiple days in a row of single digit and below zero temperatures, and everybody, just bundling up, and the snow has not had a chance to melt it off. Now, usually we get a little bit of melt off, well, because the temperature does rise to around 30 to 35. And it's not unusual for us to have a day or 2 or 3 in January that gets well above the freezing point, and 40 degrees is well above the freezing point. It's not unusual. But we already have some people around here talking about, it being global warming. Well, it's climate change, man. This is why. I don't know a single period in time going back in my life at all. I know I haven't been. I'm just a dot on a dot on a dot as far on the timeline as far as that is concerned. But in my lifetime, I have not known the weather not to be at any particular time, not to be variable, and in some cases extreme. It's never been this no, Chris, she knows the answer. I'll talk about that later. Unfortunately not. I don't play that stuff. But in any case, we've never had, wonderful, just even lines of waves of temperatures. It's January, so the temperature is supposed to stay at 20 degrees, between 20 and 25, and it just slightly fluctuates daily. And in February, it might get a little bit colder, and it just gently slopes down. And we don't have any variables. It doesn't all of a sudden one day just jump up to 40 degrees and back down to 20 the next day. No, the weather has never, ever been like that. But anytime that there is a massive change in the current weather pattern, all these people throw up their hands and say, well, it's weather. It's man-made climate change and it's global warming. The weather has never been that level, that smooth. Never. Even, we could look at people's diaries from 200, 300, 400 years ago. Speaking of 400 years ago, man, oh man, I did some research over the weekend. And then, wouldn't you know, I was just goofing off and just looking stuff up. And then, wouldn't you know it, yesterday, the History Channel actually brought more information forward for me. I didn't even know it was going to be on. About Christopher Columbus and the Knights Templar. And I already knew a lot of this stuff. But what came to me as far as, there were two things. The Knights Templar and Christopher Columbus, back in the day, when they were doing whatever they had to do you realize that they had to deal with weather extremes? Oh my goodness, yes. It wasn't, we see in the wonderful movies how everything it's always summertime when these guys are they're running around the countryside or taking float. They sail out of the harbor. It's always summer in all the movies. That's not what they had to deal with back then. Oh no, they had some terrible and terrific weather systems and issues to deal with. Columbus had to deal with hurricanes on the ocean. And they didn't have, radar to tell them how to avoid stuff. Oh, these poor guys, they were in the middle of it all. We don't experience weather like today like they used to. Not at all. They had no warning whatsoever. We get weather forecasts and satellite images, and we get warnings. It just comes up on them. All they could go by was, if it's red at night, sailor take flight, or whatever it is. That's all they had was the type of wives' tales types of weather patterns or predictors. They didn't really have any predictors. They had a lot to deal with. I mean, now think about it being 20 or even colder degrees and wearing full plate mail fighting in a battle. They had to, Europe, they had to do this. Even after that, what did Napoleon do? Part of Napoleon's problem is he tried to attack, Russia and the Bolsheviks during winter. Hello? These were some cold days and nights. People froze to death. Can you imagine wearing chainmail or plate mail armor when it's like 30 degrees? It's like a refrigerator. How about when it gets colder? I mean, look, think about the Danes. The Danish, the Dutch, and, they had these castles. They didn't have glass in their windows at certain until a certain century. We don't deal with cold. It gets 40 degrees now in some places, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, it's global warming. It's climate change." Please. But I learned a lot this weekend, and I know it's the History Channel, but the History Channel actually built. It was a program late yesterday afternoon that I caught at like 6 p.m. But they built on what I had been learning already. Just because there was all this stuff. There's a new program on. Is it the History Channel it's on? About the Knights Templar. And there's all kinds of, we've got another program. I think it's on Discovery. There's another program called The Curse of Oak Island. Anybody watch that? I find it, now, to me, I think it's over dramatized, and I think they should have, I think there's something down there, and they should have, this is like the 5th or 6th season. I think they've already found stuff, and they're just dragging this on. But in any case, we know... we always talk about how these people, how could they possibly do this kind of stuff? Well, because human beings were not as stupid back then as we like to think that they were. I mean, hell, we even know how pirates hid their booty and protected it. How many, some of the movies talk about like the Goonies and the pirate traps. Well, that stuff was real. They were not idiots. They were definitely not idiots. But understand that when we put all of this stuff together, this is the whole problem with a lot of people when they take this stuff apart and they just sort of separate it. Oh, Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, no, he didn't. And now, because of understanding Christopher Columbus's lineage, his wife was the daughter of a sea captain who was directly related to I can't think of their name. The St. Pierre, St. Christopher's, or Saints out of Scotland. And they were they were close allies and friends of the Scottish monarchy, going all the way back to Robert the Bruce and before. And there is all these different connections between. Christopher Columbus's father-in-law evidently had maps that showed the eastern coast of the northern hemisphere in other words, Nova Scotia down through the USA down to Florida. And the whole notion is that Christopher Columbus knew what he was doing. And the whole thing that he was looking for a western route, direct route to the Indies, was a cover. And there is all kinds of evidence that show that he was blown off course of where he wanted to go, but he knew exactly where he was going. And we already know that there are structures in this country built by Europeans that were built way before Christopher Columbus landed. I'm just saying. I know some people are saying, "No, Rod, it was Christopher." No, the historical evidence is that Christopher. Well, first of all, yeah, there were Native Americans already here, but the evidence is that Europeans did not discover North America in 1492 when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. It was discovered long before then, and that there were many, many trips before then from Europeans and possibly Egyptians. Yeah, anybody ever see the program where they, not the Kon-Tiki stuff on the other side of South America, on the Pacific side, but the Egyptian stuff? They found Egyptian, ancient Egyptian stuff, and let me just put it that way, stuff, on the eastern coast of South America. Meaning, they've even done, the Kon-Tiki thing, how they could have done it in the Kon-Tiki. They rebuilt the Kon-Tiki and did. Well, they've done the same thing with the Egyptian boats. And during, unless there was hurricane weather, during, pretty much fair traveling, which was possible, Egyptian ships could have made it from Africa to here. So it's an interesting. History is interesting. When you start putting pieces together and you start realizing that we're really not taught a whole hell of a lot. There is a shall we say, an agenda on the things that are or are not taught in a classroom. Because if you keep your and also notice how so many people, when they're faced with the truth or the facts, they still won't believe it because that's not what they learned as children. It's amazing. When you get, I'm open to facts, but it's amazing how some people will say, "That's not what I learned in school." Well, maybe what you learned in school was not the complete story, or maybe it was a totally wrong story. And trying to convince people that their teachers lied to them is, can you think about that? You're an adult and you're thinking, my third grade teacher lied to me. We are so wimpy now that we cannot handle the fact that our teachers may have been wrong. Well, it's not necessarily the teacher's fault because they were also taught the wrong thing. So they were teaching what they were taught. Plain and simple. I mean, it's just Nobody even stops and thinks about it. All we think about is how Hollywood has twisted the wonderful days of old, the wonderful days of knights, and the days of ancient Rome, and before then ancient Egypt. We have all this. We have all these Hollywood movies, and people think Hollywood fiction is actually historical fact, and that's far from the truth. By the way, just to bring a little perspective, when you are watching Hollywood stylized movies and TV programs of the Middle Ages, please note that men and women back then, especially if they were the wonderful paupers, they were not that well groomed at all. Think about it.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Around the town when folks are snacking,
Bell's the brand you'll find them packing.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching,
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack,
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'cause great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. Bell, swell.
Kind of cold front last night. Now, I didn't even pay attention to it, and I don't pay. Look, I don't need to actually watch these programs to understand what the hell is going on with them. But the Golden Globes was on last night, and it was hosted by Seth Meyers. Why is Seth Meyers famous? He was a late night talk show host, was he not? One of those late night talk show hosts. He was the host. In other words, he wasn't all that. all these people try to imitate and be funny like Johnny Carson. And I know I'm about to step in it now. But in the few years before Johnny Carson retired, he was not all that funny. He was just, they were just recirculating all his old jokes. Really. In the early days, Carson was hilarious. And then his stuff just got old. But in any case, they all try to be a Carson, or they all try to be, the other ugly guy, not a looker. I was never a fan of him. Yeah, but I guess Kimmel, is it Jimmy Kimmel? He does the lip syncing thing. Yeah, he's okay. But I don't even. There's so many late night talk shows now. I don't know who's hosting what. To tell you the truth. But so Seth Meyers is one of them, right? He's one of those. I don't know. Don't care. Don't think he's all that funny. But he was the host of the Golden Globes last night. But the Golden Globes, there was a cold front that moved in. You kind of, it's not Kimmel. I don't know who they are, to tell you the truth. Because I don't care. I don't watch them. Because they're not Fallon. That's right, Fallon. Thank you, Chris. Fallon, for correcting me on that. It is Fallon. Is it Jimmy Fallon? Is it Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon? There's two Jimmys? I don't care. In any case, has anybody ever seen those lip sync battles that he does? Some of them are hilarious. They are absolutely. He's very good at it too, by the way. He's very good. But in any case, no wonder I get confused. They're both Jimmys. Shouldn't one of them be James or Jim? But you had a cold front moving through last night through Hollywood towards Donald Trump, which was to be expected. It was highly predicted. But then all of a sudden, things got really hot at the Golden Globes Award. Yeah, they were all walking through. They were, they had this whole thing. Many of the stars were wearing black to show solidarity. Isn't that a little bit racist? You're wearing black to show solidarity against sexual, misconduct. Why are they wearing black? I mean, I got some information here on Hollywood racism, man. Wait till you see this. We'll get into that a little bit later. But why were they wearing black to signify their solidarity, against Harvey Weinstein et al.? I'm just asking a question. I'm not insinuating anything. Of course I am. But they were wearing black as being in solidarity. So there was this massive cold front because, hey, Donald Trump is a big sexual abuser too, according to them, right? So there was this massive cold front that moved through during the Golden Globes, and then once they got inside, all of a sudden it flipped. The temperature flipped, and it got really hot. Why did it get hot? It got really, really hot because of the Oprah gave a speech. Yeah, a Lifetime Achievement Award acceptance speech. So everybody was listening and following and getting out the fans and and singing hallelujah because the Oprah was on the stage. The Oprah. I mean, they have memes and stuff now. Remember what they did to Obama to try to deify Obama? Well, they're doing the same thing with Oprah, and she has even said that she's going to run for president. They are all saying, "Oprah, run, girl, run! You're going to win." So understand this: the answer for the Democrats to answer against Donald Trump, a billionaire businessman, they don't like him. So their answer is not find somebody who they think is highly qualified, but they're going to go out and find a black woman who also happens to be a billionaire businesswoman. That's their answer. That's it.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Gave her acceptance speech for Lifetime Achievement Award, and everybody in the left they took it as a pre-speech to her political aspirations. Now, obviously, you can't say that Oprah is not qualified. Now, why do I say? Well, because the woman basically. She's a self-made billionaire, or I'm sorry, billionairess. She really is. I mean, more self-made. Well, if you're going to compare, she's more self-made than Donald Trump. Why? Because Donald Trump already came with a background, and he came for money. Oprah Winfrey did not. She had zilch. So you got to give her props for that. She's a woman that did it on her own with no help from anyone, and she didn't have a leg up to start. Donald Trump had a leg up. Now, don't misunderstand me. Donald Trump took a couple $1 million from his dad and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar empire. That, what Donald Trump built was not him, was not his daddy. It's not his daddy's money. It's all him. But understand, Oprah didn't have that to start with, so she had to just basically scrap and start from the bottom up. Okay, so I got to give her props. I don't know. What is she? She's worth like $1 billion. Very damn close to it. She's got her own network and now just understand. Okay, from a business perspective, okay, she understands leadership. Obviously. Now that alone, now, frankly, folks, if Oprah were to run for president, she would be the single most qualified presidential candidate on the Democratic side in the last 60 years. No joke. She would be the most qualified candidate to run for president on the Democratic ticket in the last 60 years at least. And understand that the benefit, the added benefit is that the Oprah is a woman and the Oprah is also black. It's a perfect storm. Now, believe it or not, not that I believe that she would win, and she could win, by the way. I'm not going to discount that. Not that she would, but she would be a formidable foe for Donald Trump in 2020. Not going to lie about it. I would be worried about an Oprah candidacy. I really would. Not saying that she would automatically win, because it would all depend on what Trump and the Republicans, the GOP, do between now and 2020. if the Republicans continue to screw up Donald Trump's agenda, well, the American people, they just may turn to Oprah and the Democrats. Now, that's a scary notion. Not that Oprah is not qualified, but because of her own beliefs. She's like another Obama, for crying out loud. I'm just saying. She's like, now, believe it or not, Oprah wasn't all that keen to be behind Obamacare, although she does believe in certain aspects of it. But understand, she'd be another capitulating Obama. And she would try to use her celebrity in order to get... You know what? Only American women... Now, I'm going to be honest with you on this one. Only American women have this godlike view of Oprah. World leaders, especially world leaders who are men, do not view Oprah the same way American women do. She would not be... Everybody, she wouldn't go over to Germany or to North Korea or to Iran or to Russia and suggest books for them to read, and they just run out to the bookstore and get those books that she suggested or buy those products that she suggested, or Oprah's favorite things. They would look at her like she's some sort of idiot. I mean, you got to understand. You have to understand that there are the way that the old world views the new world is still we're the little kids on the block. Sure, we may be a big kid, but we're still the new kids in the block who don't understand world affairs. And when you have somebody like Barack Obama, who gave the power of leadership back to, that's why they loved him. Because he said, hey, why should we be so big, badass, and strong? Why don't you guys take care of the world from now on? And the UN just said, hey, yeah, it's about damn time, because you guys are too young and too stupid to understand. Do you understand how far back our country's culture goes? I mean, in our country, we've got houses that are older than your entire nation. How can you possibly be a world leader? You don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just little kids in the block. You may have nukes and be the most powerful army on the planet, but other than that, you have nothing. So when Obama said, you know what, I'm going to sit back here and lead from behind, they loved it. That's exactly what Oprah Winfrey would do. Because she's not stupid either. She understands where her cred comes from. And her cred does not spread across the oceans. It doesn't. And she's not going to demand respect. She's not going to utilize the military to foster that respect. And we'd be back in another Barack Obama era for 4 or 8 years if Oprah Winfrey were president. Yeah, I don't know what Stedman would do. But she's not married to him, by the way, still. After all these years, they just didn't get married. Now, I don't know if she was afraid that Stedman would glom onto her billions of dollars or not. He's a self-made millionaire, too. He's not as financially successful as Oprah, but he's no slouch. He's got his own bucks. But I'm just beside myself. All of a sudden, these people are thinking, well, Oprah is our candidate. And this is, look, we should not be picking candidates by celebrity status. We shouldn't. We've already done that numerous times. Why do they want Oprah? Has she come forth with any policies or policy thoughts that the left likes? I haven't heard any. I haven't heard of any of her with any real policy statements. All we can gather is what she said on the Oprah Winfrey Show and in some of her interviews that she's done with other celebrities and politicos after she canceled her own show. I mean, really, what does she really stand for? Does the general public really understand or know what Oprah Winfrey stands for? Most of them do not. So how is it that all of a sudden that we're thinking that she should be the candidate for the Democrats? It's based on celebrity. That alone should disqualify her. No, I'm not saying that she's not qualified. I just said that she was highly qualified. A lot more qualified than Hillary Clinton, that's for damn sure. But having any policy, without having run for government office before, knowing nothing about other than her celebrity, what is the reason for her to run? For people, well, not for her to run, but for what is the reason for people to support her? Television icon, this is from the New York Times, an excerpt from the Times. A television icon, film producer, and actress was a magnet for the cameras throughout the Golden Globes telecast, smiling, laughing, bowing, and inspiring a constellation of memes. Most had a similar thrust. Next to Miss Winfrey, even the Hollywood elite were but mere mortals. Why would you write something like that? Now, folks, they've already had this similar godlike moment with Obama. Everybody remembers the 8 years of Obama, and especially the first 4 years when they gave him, every time the man gave a speech and they recorded it, they gave him this godlike reverb in the background, and I can't tell you how many times I saw pictures where the lighting was done purposefully in such a way where the light was in the back of his head like he was Christ, or he had the presidential or the seal of the United States behind his head. Anybody remember those pictures? And it looked like a halo. You know, the Catholic halo around behind Christ and Mary, you know, his mother Mary. That's what they did with Barack Obama, but they used the presidential seal. Now, those pictures were taken on purpose at those angles because they wanted him to appear like he was the smartest, bravest, biggest, baddest, bestest human being on earth. You know, they're doing the same with Oprah already. The Hollywood elite, you know, the god and goddesses of our time, even they were mere mortals next to Oprah. Are you kidding me? So this is how they're going to bring her to, and the scary part is that there are going to be millions of people who fall for this BS, folks. There's going to be millions of people. And the scary part is that the GOP doesn't get their freaking act together and start supporting Donald Trump's agenda. The economy is going to stall. The people are going to blame the Republicans. They're going to throw another fit like they did with against G.W. Bush when they elected Obama over McCain. That's what it was. It was a voter temper tantrum. They're going to throw another one because then they're going to. Well, Oprah is just as qualified as Trump. Oprah is more of a self-made billionaire than Trump is. Oprah has a vast, business empire. She knows what she's doing. She's international. Blah 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 blah. And then all these wonderful Democrats are going to ride on her coattail, and people are going, well, Oprah likes her. The Oprah likes this candidate, and the Oprah likes that candidate. You're gonna get a bunch of people, especially mamby-pamby, wimpy, bent-wristed men also following Oprah around, say, oh, Oprah likes this person and endorses that person like a book and like her favorite things. And they're going to run out and vote for these people. Do not discount the power of the Oprah, man. Even when it comes to elections, I'm not saying that she would automatically win. I'm just saying she would be a formidable foe. And not just for the candidacy of the presidency, because even if she doesn't win, her endorsements alone could sway the vote in some districts where Republicans are in trouble. Really could. Now, have you ever noticed Oprah really doesn't talk much about politics? She doesn't really endorse a lot of people. And you got to wonder why that is. Because she knows the power of her voice. She knows the power of it. There are people that always say, well, Rush Limbaugh's got this influence. No, Rush ain't got nothing on Oprah. I'm just telling you, folks. Some of you may try to dismiss her. Don't do that. Don't do it. You will be shocked and dismayed at the result if you do. I just saying. But it's not as if that the Oprah is not unbeatable. Of course she is. And she's going to have to defend her policy. Now, that's where we'll probably get her. Whatever her policy agenda is, she's going to have to, well, I don't know, maybe the press won't let her get away with that. Well, Donald Trump would not let her get away with not expressing her policy agenda. The media would, but Trump wouldn't. And Trump's got a huge following on Twitter, so there's no way in hell she's going to get away with not being able to express her policy concerns or her policy agenda. But the press will give her a pass. I'm not saying she's not defeatable. She's not beatable. Of course she is. I'm just saying don't underestimate her. And there are a lot of people who are already doing that, and that would be a huge mistake.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Wake you up. bit this morning. Give you a little bit of dubstep there. Dubstep music. Hey, it's a fascinating genre, and it incorporates a lot, by the way. But it's got that whole, gothic industrial type of thing fused with EDM, electronic music, electronic digital music, EDM. In any case, this whole thing with the Oprah is she is defeatable, and she's going to have to espouse whatever. Now, at this particular juncture, I can't. There seems to be she has done some things in her business life that could be construed as preparing her to move into the public sector from the private sector. She's made some moves with the OwnNet network. She sold off a portion of it of her holdings in it. I think she sold most of it, right? She has sold some other holdings, controlling interest in some of her other business interests. Although I think she still completely controls the Oprah magazine, which is basically the print version of her television, the old television show. It means that if she, unlike Martha Stewart Living, because at least every issue that I've seen, all it's been is Oprah on the cover. If she were president, she wouldn't be able to do that. Would the Oprah magazine still survive without Oprah on the cover? No offense to Mike Pence, because Mike Pence is a highly qualified vice president. This guy is awesome. He is perfect for Donald Trump. But if Oprah Winfrey, I can't even. That's why I just say the Oprah. If Oprah were to run for president, Donald Trump should ask Mike Pence to step aside for the good of the country and the good of the party. And if, who should Donald Trump replace Mike Pence with? Donald Trump should replace Mike Pence as vice president, as a vice presidential candidate, if Oprah were to run. Not with another guy. And not with just any woman either. Donald Trump should replace Mike Pence as vice president if the Oprah were to run on the Democratic ticket. He should replace Mike Pence with none other than Martha Stewart. Come on, another woman. Another self-made billionaire woman who doesn't take any crap, by the way. Who is not a liberal, by the way. Martha Stewart is not a liberal. Who's also paid the price for lying, having a process crime committed against her, basically, and has gone to jail for it. Would she be eligible to be? Yeah, she'd be eligible. There you go. She should definitely. He should pick her simply because Oprah ain't got nothing on Martha, except for the fact that Martha is an old white woman and Oprah Winfrey is now becoming an old black woman. But both of the savvy businesswomen that don't take any crap, both have massive influence in the female and growing influence in the mamby-pamby wimpy male market. Yeah, just play the card, play the female card back on her. That's how you do that. That's how you get rid of this kind of crap. Just Martha Stewart for vice president.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
And now, now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine. It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Let's rock this joint!
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Bunkerized Studio, although this is Bunkerized Studio number 2. Yeah, we've got some things that we're doing in this particular studio that we weren't able to do in the original Bunkerized Studio. Well, the original Bunkerized Studio is actually Bunker Studio number 2, 2.0. I guess you could say this is 3.0, but this is not where we will regularly do the broadcast from, but this is the studio in which is being lent to me that we will be doing some video stuff out of, because the Bunkerized Studio is pretty hunkered down. It's not really made for video, so we'll do some video stuff out of here. But so we're doing a little bit of testing out here and seeing if we can get some video done. So we'll be just doing some video broadcasting from here, but the real Bunkerized Studio, where the Freedom Throne is still located. We still have that one. Still got that one. But in any case, welcome on board. Glad that you are here, folks, here on this Monday, not Wednesday. Thinking ahead to the middle of the week already, but it is Monday, January number 8 in the year of our Lord 2018. And if you missed the last hour, we did talk about the Oprah. And people have always asked, well, why do you say her name that way? Because sometimes when you get into a conversation and you really get going, Winfrey gets to be something hard to pronounce. I know it's not for everybody, just for me. So when I really get rolling, the whole name Winfrey, it kind of gets jumbled in your mouth. Besides, everybody needs to know that she's different. So why not pronounce her name differently? Just can't say Oprah Winfrey. You got to say the Oprah, like she's a goddess of whatever. But in any case, well, look, there is no denying the Oprah effect. There is none. And there are few celebrities that have that kind of influence. I don't know. I don't know any politicians that do. Which is why I suggested that Donald Trump should counter with Martha Stewart, because although she doesn't have the same influence, amount of influence as Oprah does, Martha Stewart is no slouch in the influence department. And if Martha Stewart wanted to get political, like they want Oprah, I think she'd be able to do it rather successfully. Because let's face it. Everybody knows Martha Stewart is a tough woman. I mean, she's often been called a bitch. Now, I've never been one who's followed Martha Stewart. I got to tell you, I've always actually liked the woman. I have. I mean, we're going back to the 80s now when she first started becoming a household name. I've admired the way she did it. Just as I've admired how Oprah Winfrey raised herself up as well, too. I'm not taking anything away from either woman. They're smart ladies. They have tremendous business acumen. And they both built a media empire, different kinds of media empires, but they both built a media empire. And there, you can't disqualify Martha Stewart either. I'm just saying, folks, you really can't. If you want, well, I mean, when it comes to name recognition, as far as media is concerned, most male media moguls, they're behind the scenes. You really don't know who they are. These ladies are up front. Everybody knows their name. Name recognition is through the roof with these two women. Just saying. There is. Let's face it. If you outside of Hollywood, if you were not a Hollywood star or Hollywood insider, did you know who Harvey Weinstein was? I didn't. Most people on the outside did not. Because those guys, they run in the shadows. They run behind the scenes. They put forth all of these wonderful, beautiful faces, and we call them stars, TV or movie stars. They're in the shadows. You want to talk about a shadow government? Let's talk about shadow Hollywood. People like Harvey Weinstein were in the shadow, which is why they got away with this stuff for so long. They were in the shadows. You can't be, frankly, you cannot be out in the open and be well known and get away with half the stuff that Harvey Weinstein got away with. He got away with it for so long because he was in the shadows. He was behind the scenes. Nobody but those involved in the industry actually knew who he was. Plain and simple. Now, Oprah and Martha, on the other hand, they're out front, man. They are the image. They are the product. They are the service. They are the name. I mean, own Oprah Winfrey Network. Harpo Productions is just Oprah spelled backwards. Martha Stewart Omnimedia. Martha Stewart Living. Their names are on everything. It's like Trump. His name is on everything. That's why they have name recognition. They don't hide in the shadows. It was everything Trump. Trump Tower, Trump International, Trump Hotel, Trump this, Trump that, Trump. His name recognition was through the roof. Everybody knows who he is. This whole notion with this Wolf thing, well, the reason why he ran for president, because he didn't really want to be president. He just wanted to be the most famous man in the world. Donald Trump was already one of the most famous people in the world. There are very few people that have higher name recognition than Donald J. Trump. There was no need for him to run for president of the United States in order to become more famous. And that's a ridiculous notion. Now, I'm not saying that couldn't possibly ever be true. Well, with somebody who's a total narcissist, of which Donald Trump is not, yes, that could be true. But when you're looking at a person who already has name recognition through the wazoo, already one of the most famous people on the planet, he doesn't need to be president of the United States to become more famous. I mean, that was one of the more laughable things about this whole Wolf book that came out. Oh, yeah, he didn't really want to be president. He just wanted to be the most famous person on the planet. Really? That's gonna be Wolf's message. I just don't. I don't. These people are unhinged. They are completely unhinged on the left. So I don't know. Will they look forward to 2020 with hope and glee if Oprah runs? What happens if Oprah doesn't run? What happens if Oprah says, you know what, I don't want to take the pay cut and get gray hair? Because let's face it, you're president for 4 or 8 years, and your head goes completely gray. You cannot keep up with it. Coloring. You can't. I mean, hell, I'm a bit of a narcissist when it comes to my hair. I would not want to be president because I don't want my hair to turn gray prematurely. I'm just saying. You become president, you go gray pretty damn fast. Can you imagine a woman being president, going gray early? I know that there are a lot of men who are gray. Anderson Cooper is what do they call Anderson Cooper? The silver fox now? Silver fox for whom? I don't. For ladies? No. Remember, he plays for the other team. Sam Shepard was movie star, silver fox for many years. Steve Martin. Haven't seen much from Steve Martin lately, but he was gray early too. There's a few, but I don't know of any. Well, I guess Dame Judi Dench. She doesn't really color her hair, does she? She's all white gray, right? But there aren't many females that can pull it off. So they got. What is Oprah's hair color of choice? Is it L'Oreal or is it some of the? I don't. That's the only one I know. Well, I don't color my hair, so I don't know what women use. I don't even. Do guys still use Grecian formula? What is it? 16 or 44 or something like that. I don't know. I guess I'm not that narcissistic. I don't know what people utilize because I don't use it. But Oprah at the Golden Globes, everybody's wondering and speculating. Is she now running for president? Now, the people who've heard the speech, I've heard excerpts. I don't understand where I didn't hear a political speech. Now, I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but the excerpts that they're pulling out saying, was she running for president? This is pointing to that she's thinking about it. I didn't hear any politics in there. I really didn't. It was nothing like Meryl Streep's speech last year. You remember that? If anything, people would have thought that Meryl Streep would have been running for office. I didn't hear that in Oprah's. Oh, maybe that's why everybody thinks that she's gonna run. Fire and Fury author Mr. Wolf says 25th Amendment concept is alive every day at the White House. Now, for those of you who don't know what the 25th Amendment, the proposal for the 25th Amendment would allow the president's cabinet to remove him from office. Now, there are a number of reasons why that's a bad idea. And there are a number of reasons why it will not. Everybody's up, yeah, we should do this. No, we should not. Now, understand, it's not, having a constitutional amendment is not just as easy as having Congress pass a law. It's not. I mean, Congress has got to okay it. And then it's got to go out to the states, and then it's got to be ratified by, 2/3 majority of the states legislatures, not the governors. Every single state has got to vote. Well, they don't have to vote on it, but you got to get 2/3. So what do we got to get 33 states? At least? No, that's more than that. 37, I think. 37 states have got to. What is the exact number? Why can't I figure this out this morning? This is terrible. Monday morning, math. Hey, I never said I was a math whiz. was it 37 states have got to approve or approve the amendment for it to become a factual, actual constitutional amendment. Now, each state has their own procedure in ratifying a constitutional amendment. And am I not mistaken that in some states there may be a public voter referendum? I don't know if they're binding it. I don't live in a state where such a thing is, but some states may have this. In other words, passing a constitutional amendment is what they used to do in order to really change the Constitution, because that's what you're supposed to do constitutionally. But it's not as easy as it sounds. And everybody's up, yeah, this is a great idea. First of all, it's a bad idea. Second of all, you're nowhere near being able to ratify it, let alone actually write the law and put it and propose it as a bill and have it pass in Congress. Even if Democrats were in charge, this would not be such a great thing. Because, hey, Republicans like Donald Trump are not always going to be president. I'm not. Would you have had the ability if this were if this were constitutional law back under Obama? Well, no, there wouldn't. The way it's written, there wouldn't have been enough cabinet members to remove Obama, vote to remove Obama. But at some point, you might have that. You're not going to want to have appointed people. Now, understand this for a second. It's a point. They're appointed. You are not going to want. Do you want to talk about having the ability of a coup? How about a vice president or the third in line, in the House, the Speaker of the House, decide that they don't like the president? They start a coup. Well, it's a lot more difficult if you have to impeach and then convict and remove the president in order to remove him or vote him out of office. You can start a coup by saying, hey, whispering behind the line. You just get enough of the cabinet members to go along with you who are appointed, not elected. And you got a major problem. The notion of this 25th Amendment is probably one of the worst ideas that Democrats have come up with in the last 100 years. It is a direct affront to the people of the country and the Constitution, because it is now putting in charge appointed officials, not elected. You see, when you go through Congress to do an impeachment and a conviction and removal, it goes through elected representatives. Having cabinet members decide whether or not a sitting president, is qualified enough to stay president by unelected, appointed bureaucrats is exactly what the founders were against. And this is what Democrats want to put in place. If that were to be put in place and to be ratified, it wouldn't be Obama as legacy that we have to worry about. That amendment alone would completely, totally, and utterly wreck the Constitution as we know it.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Celebrity on the red carpet, as it were, or is it now a black carpet? I don't know. Over there at the Golden Globes last night, and she was interviewed by the television network E. E exclamation point. E stands for entertainment, I guess, if I remember correctly. But now, while she was trying to, and she did this a very poor job of trying to explain why she was wearing black in solidarity against Harvey Weinstein and blah, 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 blah. So, again, I ask you, well, isn't that kind of, racist? Now, black, the color black is to signify something terrible, bad. But in any case, while she was giving an interview to an E hostess. Yes, she was live on the red carpet. She was the first actress to be interviewed by E hostess or host Juliana Rancic ahead of the Golden Globes. And Messing did and said something that took Hollywood a little bit by surprise. Now, Messing is a mess. She's almost as bad as Meryl Streep as far as being a leftist. She really is. She's just an idiot. Deborah Messing, in my book, is a total mess. And was she she's one of the stars of the didn't they do this reboot of Will and Grace? Yeah, about the gay couple thing, whatever. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I know what Will and Grace is. I've actually watched a couple of episodes and didn't think it was funny at all, but it is what it is. I'd make a terrible gay guy. I really would. In any case, I don't like any of these shows. They're ridiculous. But she was out there talking about how pay inequality, and she called out E for not paying their female reporterettes the same as they pay their male reporters. And she called them out at the Golden Globes on the red carpet on E's own microphone. What's the reporterette supposed to say to that? She had nothing to respond to. She probably agrees. Yeah, I'm getting paid a lot less than the guy next to me here. So, kudos to Deborah Messing, at least for being a bit consistent with her outlandish beliefs. Being able to, I don't know, is she getting paid the same as the rest of her co-stars in Will and Grace? I don't know. She might be, but if not, why is she talking?
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one.
together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Twitter, pinned it to my profile page over there on Twitter, about the Oprah running for president. Should Oprah run for president in 2020? Yes or no? Simple poll. We'll see where it goes. In any case, welcome back. Moving on a little bit from the Oprah here. There are other people who might want to be president on the Democratic side. Democratic hopefuls, according to The Hill, are continuing to flock to Iowa. Now, there are some familiar names that are heading to Iowa and some unfamiliar names. You have to keep... Now, yeah, everybody seems to go to Iowa first, but then as they start to appear in New Hampshire here... That's when you start to whittle down and start seeing people who are more serious about it, or who thinks they have a shot at raising the funds and all that kind of stuff. But Bernie Sanders obviously is out there because now without Hillary Clinton, I can be a voice of reason on the liberal side, and I should be because they robbed me blind. They took me blind, and they took everything, even though they gave me money to buy a lake house. They still robbed me blind, and it should be that this in 2020 is my turn. Bernie Sanders is appearing in Iowa, giving speeches, as well as Bill de Blusterous, that would be Bill de Blasio, from New York City, the wonderful Big Apple's mayor, who just won re-election pretty easily and handily, and is already screwing up in New York City. I don't know. What the hell is wrong with you New York City people? In any case, you also have Democrat Tim Ryan out of Ohio, and Senator, he's Representative Tim Ryan, and Senator Amy Klobuchar, Klobuchar. Did I pronounce her name properly? I'd never heard it pronounced. Out of Minnesota, and Representatives Seth Moulton out of Massachusetts are some of the big Democratic honchos visiting the Hawkeye state towards the end of last year. Personally, myself, I don't think anybody named Seth should be president. I shouldn't have said that. There are a lot of people named Seth out there. I'm sorry. Well, no. I don't particularly... It's not that I have any animosity towards the name Seth. It's Seth... Most people that I've run across named Seth, like the name Kevin, nobody named Kevin should be president either. I can count on one... I mean, I have met a lot and know a lot of Seths. And I can count on, just like Kevin's, I can count on one hand the number of people by those names that I like that aren't total asswipes. Just saying. There are certain names you should probably not name your child because they will end up being total jerks. Male or female. I'm just saying. Now, well, I haven't known a lot of Hillarys, so I think I've only known one Hillary Clinton. So that's, you can't really say that about Hillary when it comes to female names. But male names, males named Kevin and males named Seth tend to be not nice people. On the other hand, it seems like I can't really say the last time I met a Michael that I didn't like. Should we have a president named Michael? We might. Well, there was one Michael Dukakis. I didn't know him personally, just politically. And I didn't like him as the governor of Massachusetts, and I didn't like him as a candidate for president either. But generally, there was, on both sides of the political aisle, people didn't really say that Michael Dukakis was a jerk. He was just a liberal idiot. There's a difference between being a jerk and being an idiot. Really, there really is. So Mike, I can't name a Michael that I haven't liked. Really, haven't come across or known. No, maybe there is. They're just too far. One hand, there's probably the number of Michaels I didn't like, and Michael is a very popular name. But so is Kevin and Seth nowadays, and it's just the opposite. I just don't. There aren't. Seths are going to come out of the woodwork. Hey, hi, my name is Seth, and I'm following you. I'm hitting unfollow, block. But I can just see it happening now. Any case, you have all these wonderful, wonderful liberal Democrats who are testing the waters by heading over to Iowa now. Former Maryland Governor Seth O'Malley even dropped into Iowa last year 4 times. I think he's really serious. Locals have been buzzing about potential appearances by former Vice President Joe Biden. He was expected to come in and campaign for Abby Finkenauer, a former staffer who was running for a seat in the Iowa House of Representatives. Now, yes, Joe Biden. Yeah, but let good old Joe run. You have all these wonderful favored people to replace. How are they going to decide? Well, Bernie Sanders better hope that the Oprah doesn't run, because he'll never be the nominee, let alone president. But he'll never be the nominee if Oprah runs. If Oprah runs, then she should make me her vice president, because that's where I belong. I belong in the White House. But I wonder if Bernie would say that Oprah isn't qualified. No, seriously, I wonder how Democratic opponents to Oprah would react to her if she were to run. How would they react to her? How would they attack the Oprah on her in her candidacy? And she's not corrupt. As far as we know, there hasn't been any, unlike Martha Stewart, who's had that one scandal, there hasn't been any Oprah scandals that I know of. Right? And hell, all she has to do, well, she won't be able to do this anymore, but, she used to bribe people into liking her by giving, remember, you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and everybody gets a car. Remember when Oprah was giving, her last 2 years on the air, she was giving away all kinds of stuff. She can't do that at least legally, running for president. But what is the scandal behind? I don't know of any Oprah scandals. Anybody know of any Oprah scandals? I'm gonna have to go digging. Well, I'll wait and see if she runs or not. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to find something that's not gonna matter. But offhand, anybody know any Oprah scandals? And no, her having a lesbian affair with her best friend Gail, that's not a scandal, especially in today's day and age. I mean, hell, she'd probably be more of a female heroine if she was a lesbian. Well, how about Wendy Williams? No, there's no scandal with her and Wendy Williams either. I don't know of any. But in any case, in all these other presidential potentials on the Democratic side, they've all been involved in, or most of them have been involved in some sort of scandal or not. I mean, hell, just being a part of the Democratic Party and the Democratic DNC machine is scandalous enough. Oprah's the only one that doesn't have one. I'll give her that. I mean, if there is, again, I don't know. I don't know of an Oprah scandal. I mean, not a real one. I mean, I'm probably sure that there are some contrived, made-up type of scandals, or something that's a scandal that really isn't a scandal. Oh, Oprah actually likes the color purple, but she said she liked blue. You know, that type of thing. Yeah, people do that all the time. It's just ridiculous. But so that's not a scandal. But I don't know of a scandal. Well, I'm reminded. Yeah, that's right. I'm reminded of her lashing out against the beef industry that she was sued for. But there is a problem with that. First of all, the lawsuit kind of left the public eye because some of the things that Oprah said about the cattle industry actually came to pass as being true, and the cattle industry didn't want that known. Kind of like, chicken and pig farmers. There's a lot of things that these giant corporate ranches and farms don't want the public to know about how they're raising the animals for our food. And I think Oprah pointed some of that. Now, some of the stuff she was bat crazy on, but some of the stuff she got kind of accurate, which is why I don't know what actually ended up happening with the lawsuit. But I do know that in the beginning there were some issues that the industry had to make some changes. So I don't think that was really. She's not going to win any fans in the cattle ranch industry, obviously. But they're so small a number, they're not really going to make much of a difference. As long as Oprah isn't out there, banning beef. By the way, she's got a new commercial where she's eating beef tacos. So there isn't. They're calling it living freestyle, the Weight Watchers thing. So it isn't. It is. I'm living freestyle. So it's not that she's anti-meat. She's not a vegetarian. I guess if you want to use that as a scandal, but again, I'm not so sure that really qualifies. But I do remember now that when she on her show, when she still had the Oprah Winfrey show, she sort of lashed out against the cattle industry. But then again, it was only American cattle. Oprah might be one of those people that only likes Kobe beef. That's not. I learned something about Kobe. That's not a very humanitarian way to raise cattle. The Kobe beef cattle. I mean, if how I learned what it is I've never had Kobe. It's what is it? One of the world's most expensive meats by the pound. I've never had it. I don't know what it tastes like, but people who have, and usually a bunch of rich liberals, they love it. Hey, if you ever want to invite me to dinner and you have Kobe beef, I will accept your invitation. I've never had it, never tried it. Not sure I want to spend, what is Kobe beef going for now? Like $50, $60 a pound or something? I don't know. It's up there though. It's not regular beef. It's not. I'll take buffalo or bison steaks. Thank you. I mean, those are good too. Those are really good. 10% of Amazon's Ohio workforce. Now understand who Amazon is. Amazon is run by Jeff Bezos, a huge Obama and liberal supporter, a huge anti-Trumper. He also owns the Washington Post. 10% of Amazon's Ohio workforce is on food stamps, so reports the Washington Free Beacon. Yes, Amazon ranks high on a list charting Ohio's employers with the most workers and their family members on food stamps, with a new report estimating that more than 10% of its workforce in the state of Ohio qualifies for federal aid. Now, here's the problem with that. It's the amount that it takes to qualify. Now, according to the report, in order to be eligible for food stamps, a family of 3 in the state of Ohio could make no more than $26,208 a year, or about a little over $12.50 per hour. $26,000 is not a lot of money, but it's not poor, especially in Ohio. Ohio is not a very, well, I mean, if you're living in Boston, yeah, you're poor at $12 an hour, $12 or $13 an hour. You're poor at $15 an hour. Not in most places in Ohio. $12, $13 an hour, $26,000 a year is not rich, but it ain't poor. But these people are getting, this is the whole point about trying to measure things with food stamps or not. Well, they're only, and by the way, might I add, we also note that Amazon, Bezos is a big, huge lib and supports the $15 an hour minimum wage. Well, he's obviously not paying his own employees that minimum wage of $15 an hour. Meaning that for a full-time worker, that would be $30,000 a year at $15 an hour, of which most people would not qualify for food stamps. So actually, the amount of money that you get for food stamps, I mean, we're talking less than $4,000 a year here. The difference between, the minimum wage and food stamp eligibility. So the reality is, if you're paying your worker $25,000, $26,000 a year, and they fall under the food stamp category, they're making off better than if they were making the minimum wage of $15 an hour. Do you realize how much food stamps are and how much people buy in food every year? Yeah, you can get at least $7,000 in benefits. So that's more than, if you make $26,000 a year and you get another $7,000 in food stamps, hey, now you're over $30,000. That's better. You're better off than making $15,000 and not being eligible, or $15 an hour not being eligible, right? I mean, come on, let's do the math here. Maybe Bezos knows something that the rest of us aren't paying attention to, and he realizes that if he pays his staff just $12.60 an hour or less, that in the end, with all the government assistance, they're actually better off than if you were to pay them $15 an hour.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 plus 2 equals Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
If we're starting to develop our candidates based on the scandals that they may have had or been involved in or not, we wouldn't have a whole hell of a lot of people, running for office. But then I've always said that the average everyday man is the person that should be running for public office, not professional politicians. Now, with that said, that means that, well, obviously Donald Trump and Oprah Winfrey are perfect candidates to run because they're not professional politicians. Now, you might say they're removed from the average everyday man because they're so wealthy. Well, a lot of our founders were actually, wealthy business owners of the day. They were upper middle class and upper class of their day, their time. A lot of them were. John Hancock had a lot to lose. He spent a lot of money. A lot of his own personal wealth went into supporting the cause of the revolution and freedom here in the United States. And he stood to lose, even if he was able to live, he just stood to lose his entire family fortune if we didn't win the revolution. He was in dire straits. He was in trouble, big trouble, if we didn't win. You had other, people that stood to lose everything. Even if they didn't lose their lives, they still stood to lose. Thomas Jefferson was not a pauper. He was a wealthy man. He stood to lose everything. Benjamin Franklin stood to lose everything. Do politicians today, do they stand to lose anything? Should they lose an election? Other than, they don't even tend to lose their power and influence. They just lose a seat. So, but that's about it. But they still seem to roar. That's why it's always, when you hear somebody say, well, they're retiring from the Senate, unless they're really, really old, they're not going to lose anything. In fact, it probably means that they've found a way to actually boost their income under the radar by going back into the private sector. Being a lobbyist or being a member of numerous boards, corporate boards. I always wanted to be a member of a corporate board, be a board director on the board of a corporation, because you don't hardly do anything, and they pay you a ridiculous amount of money for it. Why not? But plus, you get the prestige. I mean, you get some people, former presidents and politicians, they end up on the boards of multiple corporations without having to run the company. They're pulling down 6 figures from each one, and before you know it, they're on the board of 3 to 5 companies, and they're pulling down $1 million a year by being just a board of director. Well, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. Look it up. This is what happens a lot. If they're not corporate lobbyists, they become corporate board officers and make a mint. So I mean, just asking a question: how about we get more ordinary, regular Joes out there? Not Joe Bidens, but regular, ordinary Joes and Janes who run.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Truly, here it is, Monday, January number 8 in the year of our Lord 2018, as we continue on. You know, over the weekend, I had this rather lengthy tit-for-tat conversation with an older lady. Well, I'm just saying older because her picture looked, she didn't look like she was 20 or 30 something via her picture. And that I'm not being disrespectful at all. I'm just saying, you know, there are women who look in their 20s, look like they're in their 30s, what have you. She didn't look like she was either one of those. Looked like she was older. And, you know, she admitted she was also a grandmother, which in most cases put her in her 50s or 60s. Now, I know there are plenty of grandparents that are in their 40s. I get it. And there are, you know, certain that we would really construe to be trailer trash who are grandparents in their 30s. By the time they're in their late 30s, but that's not true in every case. I mean, there are people that get started young. I mean, a lot of military personnel, they get married at 19 or 20 and they start having kids. So, you know, it's possible for by the time that they're 40, you know, their kids are 20 and getting married and could have a kid or two if they're following, you know, the right processes. So it's not impossible or improbable that somebody 38, 39, 40 years old could be a grandparent. Without and not be trailer trash. It's possible. But for the most part, the average person is becomes a grandparent sometime in their 50s or 60s. And this woman was definitely a grandparent in the 50s or 60s category. And she was a little bit naive or confused. Now, I'm being nice here. Let's just say she was being a bit naive and confused about the differences between cultured and chivalrous. Now, she seemed to think because I was taking women who were discussing, we were debating certain topics, and she seemed to think that she jumped in the conversation saying that I was an ill-educated, uncultured man. And I asked, well, what gave her that impression? That she would think that I was not cultured. Because cultured men do not talk or write the way I do. That was her exact response. Now, you could take that a number of different ways. Maybe I should sound more like a hood rat to her. She's a white woman, not saying that she's racist. Or maybe because I was not sounding completely erudite and not taking the liberal side, then that means I wasn't cultured. Now, my response after speaking with her and getting her to trying to get her to answer certain questions, which half the time she did not because she didn't see them. I just don't believe that she had a legit answer to my questions, and she knew it because I wasn't going to buy some sort of stamped out BS. I think she figured that out. And I said I would rather be chivalrous than cultured, because the basic notion is that a chivalrous person is a person with honor. A cultured person will smile and laugh at you in your face and call you friend in your face. As soon as you turn your back, they will stab you with a 12-inch dagger. They won't face you when they do it. And she didn't understand the difference between chivalry and culture. We have a lot of cultured people, a lot of cultured men and women on this planet, a lot of cultured, overly educated, cultured men and women who are running our governments, and they've made a mess of the planet. They really have. And yet a chivalrous person, she seems to think that being chivalrous is being sexist. Yeah. So she also believes that being chivalrous is, well, I gave the example, well, I'm chivalrous. I'll hold the door open. I'll help a woman, who's having difficulty. I'll help her up and down the stairs or hold her arm or help her across the street. And he says, well, that's sexist. You should hold the door open for anybody. And I responded, yeah, that's what a chivalrous man does. He doesn't drop the door on somebody simply because they're not a female. Hell, I walk into buildings all the time and get the door dropped on me. That's not a chivalrous person or male in front of me. He may be a cultured male, especially if you're walking into a college. Can't tell you how many times I've walking into when I was in school, walking into college, and I've had professors not hold the door, just drop the door. Really? I mean, that's kind of rude. Well, I'm sure the professor was construed to be very cultured, very well educated, but very rude. And so there is a huge difference between cultured and chivalrous, and I'd rather have a chivalrous person. And I tried to explain militarily, and she said, well, would you have a person who's a spy? I said, spies can be very cultured. Look at James Bond. Now, James Bond is a fictional character, but he's based on real life people. I mean, Ian Fleming was a real life spy. He invented James Bond, but did he really invent him, or was he really talking about tales of his own life in the beginning? Many people think that the first few James Bond novels by Ian Fleming were quasi-autobiographical. He was a spy, and from what I understand, he was not a very nice man. Well, you can't really be all that nice if you're going to be a spy. He was devious, but Ian Fleming was very cultured. He was very suave. Not as suave as his character of James Bond, but Ian Fleming was considered to, he was a ladies' man a little bit back in the day. And she asked, "Will I have a spy to dinner?" I said, "Probably not." Because, well, I bet you don't know any spies, Rod. Like, are you kidding me? I know people who are or were in the CIA, the NSA, and the FBI. Well, the FBI isn't a spy organization. See how much you know. The FBI does has undercover people and spies. The FBI just does not operate in the United States. A lot of people have that misconception. The FBI is just a United States federal police agency. No, the FBI is a United States spy agency. I know people who are FBI agents. I know people who were in military intelligence. I went to high school with some of these people. Yeah, I know them. And even though I know them personally, I wouldn't invite most of them to dinner. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't. Yeah, they're all of them are very well educated. They're probably very well cultured in the form that you would say what, cultured men are. I wouldn't invite. Why? Because I would be afraid of them. I wouldn't be afraid of a chivalrous man, because I know they would do the honorable thing. If they had a beef with me, they'd be honorable and say so. Now, who would I have people like SEAL Team 6 to dinner? In a heartbeat. Those are honorable, chivalrous men. Well, Rod, they always follow orders. Well, the military code of conduct says, and there are many examples of military personnel disobeying a direct order that is illegal or immoral. And the military code of conduct says that is their duty to do so. I know it can be hard in the heat of battle to try to decide whether or not this is a legal or moral order. But understand, there are when you follow an order that is immoral or illegal, you're held accountable just as much or more than the person who gave the order. Plain and simple. Well, I bet you don't want women in combat. No, I do not. I do not want women on the front lines being shot at by other men. Look, I didn't say that women can't do certain jobs. I said that I did tell her that women can't do certain jobs as well as men. Well, now there are jobs that women are better at than men, and there are jobs that men are better at than women, and those are due to our physical and mental differences. There is a difference between the sexes. Whether we agree with it or not, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, there are differences. A female cop cannot compete hand-to-hand with most male criminals. Not going to happen. A female firefighter most female firefighters cannot carry the same amount of weight as a male firefighter. Just can't, physically not possible. But if I mention that, then all of a sudden I'm not cultured and I'm a sexist and chauvinist. And I'm just pointing out that the absolute factual differences between men and women. A woman cannot compete on the battlefield with a man. I'm not saying that she can't be there and she can't kill a man. I'm saying when it comes right down to it, she cannot compete. And there is some inane desire in just about every male that wants to protect the female. It's just in our DNA to do so. That's not being a chauvinist. That's just who human beings are. And by doing that and having that innate responsibility for women, it could put men in danger that they would not have been in if there wasn't a woman sitting beside them. I'm not blaming women at all. I'm just calling out the differences between men and women. Women are better at some things than men, and men are better at some things than women. That's just a biological DNA fact. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. Too damn bad if you don't like it, actually. Just the way it is. And it's not chauvinistic for a man who's usually the more powerful of the two in the sexes to want to protect a woman. Because it is of the code of chivalry, and has been for centuries, for the powerful have the responsibility to protect the weak and the meek. Well, not necessarily the meek, because you could be a powerful, meek person. No, even Jesus Christ talked about it. You know, you're supposed to protect the weak and the underprivileged. And he often referred to women and children. I mean, why is this such a problem? There is a difference in the sexes. And the sexes, I don't care what you say or what you do, cannot become the opposite of what they are. You can take all the hormones you want. You can take all get all the laser hair treatments and removal and add hair here or there. It isn't going to change your sex. Your DNA is your DNA, and you are who you are, and that is just it. You can be an aggressive female, but in no way are you a match for an aggressive male. It's just not physically possible. Now, sure, there are some exceptions, especially today with the millennial male. I mean, it's ridiculous how feminized these poor kids have become. But there are exceptions. But generally speaking, in the vast majority of cases, the DNA doesn't lie. And being factual is not being chauvinistic. It's being chivalrous, even if it's not being cultured. And frankly, I don't trust cultured people.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
See, I'm sure people will construe that I don't like spies, or clandestine agents, if you want to be politically correct. That's not the case at all. I highly respect them and the work that they do. Now, I wouldn't mind being an astronaut, but I sure as hell wouldn't want to be a spy. So these guys are doing, these men and women are doing jobs that are extremely difficult. And I expect them to be cultured, and I expect them to do what they have to do to survive. See, if you're a Dungeons & Dragons, role-playing game aficionado or fan like I was back in high school and college, I know there are people that are 40 and 50 years old still playing. Hey, time to grow up, people. But they have these characteristics that they give the characters. You have lawful good, which would be somebody who always does the right thing all the time. That would be kind of like a chivalrous person. They try to do the right thing all the time. And then you have the people that just do nothing but evil, no matter what, all the time. They call those people chaotic evil. And then there's something down the middle of the road called neutral. Well, a neutral person does what is best for them at any given point in time. And that is what a real good spy needs to do. They need to do what's best for them at any given point in time so that they survive in order to accomplish their mission. Plain and simple. There does not have to be any honor there. I don't expect there to be a whole hell of a lot of honor. Because the honor means that they really couldn't be a spy. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. I have no problem with people being spies. You just have to understand the type of personality that they have to be in order to be good at their job, in order to be successful at their job, and in order to survive and live another day. Like the good old Bond movie, Die Another Day. Well, this is what a spy has to do. They have to die another day. It can't be today. Plain and simple. So that being said, you never can say what they're going to do if they feel that if their cover is about to be blown or if their life is threatened. You never know what they're going to do. Never. And trust me, it's not just the people who are out in the field. The actual, what we construed to be real spies, the actual clandestine agent. There are a lot of spies out there that don't actually hit the field, so to speak, all the time, but they have the same mentality because they understand that they could be, even if they're sitting behind a computer desk, they understand they could be found out at any time and taken out. These people are not dumb. They're well educated. They're well cultured. They're not dumb. That can make them extremely dangerous. Frankly, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm glad that there are those kind of people on our side. Thankfully, I mean, we got one person here who comes on the show every week, and you don't understand the risk that he takes by giving out the information. And I can tell you, I'm sure that he knows the deal, and he takes all kinds of precautions. But yeah, to understand, they understand fully. It doesn't matter if they're out in the field or if they're sitting behind a desk. They're all at any point in time could be found out, their cover could be blown, and somebody could be out to end them. And they have to do whatever they need to do in order to survive and to be successful. Hey, you can't be successful in your mission if you're dead. Just saying. Just putting that to rest. In any event, I'll still take chivalrous people over cultured people, because even wonderfully educated professors, they all tend to be liberal. And there's not a single liberal I'd really want to have dinner with anyway.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
I don't think that we should go back to the old-fashioned days when, the only thing that women were good for were being nurses and in the, entertainment sector of the military. I firmly believe that in today's military, women can be fighter pilots. Why? Because the planes today are very sophisticated and they operate on a fly-by-wire system, meaning that they don't need the physical strength that one once needed. Which was once needed to fly a military fighter jet, or any of the jets actually, but especially fighter jets. I mean, these things it's like playing a video game. Now the difference is because there is a difference in the brain. Men are better at spatial aspects than women are, which is why you get the hand-eye coordination for males is better and faster than it is for females, which is why you have so many boys into video games and not very many girls. That's just the way it is. And, of course, that's going to make some people are going to say, well, you're just a sexist. No, I'm just pointing out a difference in fact. Again, you have the exception, and let's face it, even in today's world that's, military that's been equalized ridiculously so, there's still a lot of females that cannot hack being a fighter pilot. It's just the way it is. But needing the actual physical strength to do it is no longer that much of a requirement in modern fighter aircraft because of the fly-by-wire technology. And it requires far less physical strength to command those birds in the air and to do what you need them to do in order for you to win a dogfight or what have you. You're talking about old-style birds like World War II and pre-fly-by-wire stuff. It was a lot more difficult for a woman who didn't have the physical strength to fly those things. Today, it's a lot different. Because now it's been equalized. I don't have an issue with the female fighter pilot. If she can pass all the tests like a male pilot does, the ability for her to fly a jet like that, because of the removal of the physical strength limitation that's been removed, they can do it. Don't have an issue. I still don't think that they probably should be on the front lines for chivalrous reasons, but look, if she can, but the enemy isn't going to know that she's a female, they're just going to shoot her down anyway, just like they would a male. It doesn't really matter. But and there's no real When you're, I know quite a few military pilots, not so many Navy pilots, but Air Force pilots. Oh, my father was in the Air Force, so I know a lot of Air Force people. The notion of wanting to be a male to be chivalrous to protect a female in the air is a lot different than on the ground. The dynamics up there are different, and oftentimes the female pilot is the male's wingman. Not the other way around. And don't say, well, it's because it's he wants to protect the female. Understand that a wingman's job is to protect the lead fighter. In many cases, the wingman is in more danger than the lead fighter because they got to take the fire first. If they're on a mission, you got to protect that lead fighter. Maybe that lead fighter has got a particular type of missile or ordnance on it that they got to deliver. Well, the wingmen, usually no more than two, they've got the job of protecting that fighter, that lead jet. They really do. So oftentimes, even though the female pilot may oftentimes be the wingman, she's in more danger than the lead. So it's not because the pilots are so chivalrous that they don't want to put the female in danger. Oftentimes, if she's the wingman, she's in more danger than he is. Just saying the reality of stuff out there. This is not a. I know people say that we like to go black and white and things. Truths are black and white, but the world is not black and white. There's if we want to follow truth, it is black and white. But actually living every day, especially when you start talking, life and death, it's not black and white. Although it's either you live, which is white, or you die, which is black. That's black and white. But how you get there can be very different. Very different. It's amazing out there how people can be so, without even thinking, they can be so, insulted because they don't think. They don't think about because words have meanings and left is totally obliterated meanings for a lot of words. They have. So now if a word can mean anything that you want it to mean, then it doesn't mean anything. And that was the whole thing behind liberalism. Wanting to make things be what they wanted it to be, not what it necessarily was or ought to be, what the original meaning was. Which is how we get, bad translations of religious texts. Because then people start saying, well, it's this way and that. No, it's not. I always bring up the example, when properly translated, the actual literal translation for things about money, because everybody says money's the root of all evil. That is not the literal and real translation. The translation actually reads, a love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, which is very different from saying money is the root of all evil. Isn't it? Well, that's when you start changing meanings of words. That's how different it can be. Federal investigators, speaking of being different, federal investigators couldn't buy guns through legitimate websites. Well, this is from Free Beacon. Now you're probably saying, well, they couldn't buy guns from a legitimate website? Well, that's actually misreading the title or the headline. The headline actually reads, federal investigators couldn't illegally buy guns through legitimate websites despite 72 attempts. Yes, agents posing as criminals couldn't get anyone online to sell them on guns. Couldn't get. Now remember all this talk that we needed to close the internet loophole and the gun show loophole. Well, lo and behold, here's a story. It comes about that between July of 2015 and November 2017, investigators tried 72 times by posing as as criminals or people who cannot legally buy a gun. They posed 72 times to illegally buy a gun online from legitimate gun websites and failed all 72 times. Yet they tell us that we need more laws in the books. That's right. Federal agents posing as criminals were unable to purchase any firearms from legitimate online marketplaces despite dozens of attempts over 2 years. Between July 2015 and November 2017, investigators from the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, following up on a congressional request, tried to make the illegal private gun purchases through a number of online forums and marketplaces. They made 72 attempts over that time, but couldn't complete a single sale using legitimate gun sites. But we need more gun laws and gun control, because anybody can get a gun, right? Well, evidently, our government investigators couldn't. 72 attempts do you realize that with that ratio, 100% failure? Do you realize that there isn't a 100% failure rate for people who actually show ID to buy alcohol? There is. Look, being a former a bar bouncer, there are people that have come through with some very good fake IDs. And I am sure we've missed some. In fact, I know we missed some. But yet here, so people have we're told that people have an easy time of buying guns, even if they're illegal guns. They could just, it's easier to buy a gun than it is to buy tobacco or alcohol if you're underage. And yet we find out it's just the opposite. Well, as it probably should be. But in other words, we don't need more laws. We really don't. We should enforce the laws that are already in the books. And when you have people who are willing to follow the law, which obviously are legitimate gun dealers, both on and offline, that happens that they're trying to follow the law the best they can. And look, if somebody falls through the cracks, it's usually not the arms dealer's fault. Like in the last mass shooting where the U.S. Air Force failed to put this guy on the do not purchase list, basically. Well, it wasn't any gun dealer's fault, was it? No, they just went by the database that they had available. And the database said, yeah, he's legal. So sell him a gun or two. So if they're the ones following the rules, and the government isn't following the rules, then why should there be more laws put in place that hinder the legal person who's trying to follow the rules? So if you can't illegally purchase a gun, if you're an illegal recipient of a gun, you can't illegally purchase a gun from legitimate websites, then why should you put more rules or regulations or laws on legitimate internet gun sites? They're not the problem. And by putting more laws in place on them doesn't fix the problem. Really, honestly, folks, I mean, come on. I don't care if you love guns or you loathe guns. The whole point is that and this is not the first time. Not to me, we're talking about illegal gun running and all this kind of stuff as well. What is our federal government? The federal government has broken more of its own laws than most citizens have. Do you realize this? I mean, I know they're doing an investigation, but they tried to illegally buy guns. And then we had the Fast and Furious thing when they were illegally running guns across the border. So that our own government was breaking its own laws more often than regular you and me, Joe citizen trying to follow the law, which is nearly impossible, by the way. I mean, all of us, I bet you by the time noontime comes around, all of us have broken one or more, at least one or more federal, state, and or local laws. And I'm not even talking about speeding. Take that one out of the equation. You have probably broken at least one law. By the time noon, if you get out of bed and go to work, if you get up by 6 or 7 in the morning, and by the time you get to work, and by the time lunchtime comes around at noon or 1, I am sure that you have probably broken one federal rule, regulation, or law, or one state or local rule, regulation, or law. You just can't, even though you don't even know it, which is the big problem. You've probably now I'm not talking about unconsciously doing something like not paying attention to your speed limit or not, you look down to check your phone for a quick second because you heard something and you missed the light turning yellow to red and you ran the red. I mean, there are unconscious laws that we break all the break all the time unconsciously. We're distracted or something, and it leads to us that if we were paying attention, we never would have broken the law. But there are times when you just don't know that you are breaking a law because you don't even know the freaking law until some cop pulls. Never forget the time. Late at night one night, I get pulled over, and I have an emergency light, and because I was thinking about becoming a volunteer fireman, and volunteer firemen have certain kinds of lights that they're capable of having. And there are other people that are, that in the state of New Hampshire that you're allowed to have these types of safety lights if you do other types of work as well. And I was also a process server. So there was a lot of things that would allow me to legally have this light in my car, emergency light, in New Hampshire. Now I was in Massachusetts. I didn't know it was illegal in Massachusetts. Hell, the state trooper that pulled me over wasn't even sure. He actually had to go back to his cruiser and look it up. Because he looked at me, he says, I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's illegal or not for you to have that here. And I said, well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? So he went back and looked it up, and he came back and said, yeah, just for future. He says, I'm not going to write you up for it. Just for future reference, you need to know that unless you are a full-time, not volunteer, but full-time firefighter in the state of Massachusetts, you can't have that type of light, emergency light. I said, well, thanks for the information. I will definitely comply. I didn't know. He goes, yeah, well, I didn't know either, really. And this is a cop. It's just something, I don't know what made him think it, but he says, well, maybe that may not be legal. I don't know. Let me check. Well, this happens. Now, if people who are charged with enforcing the law don't even know all the laws, how the hell are you supposed to know? So, yeah, you have probably broken a law without even knowing it. Because we have too many of them. That is the point, folks. We have far too many of them. Which is a shame. Because I thought this was the land of the free.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A grand jury out there, not where you think it's going to be with everybody in D.C. But instead, there is a grand jury takes sworn testimony in the Burlington College case. Now, this is a case that involves Bernie Sanders' wife when she was the president of Burlington College, and under her tutelage, the college went out of business. Now, it didn't actually fold while she was president. She had already resigned. But because of what she had done to the place, they couldn't get out of it. Now, the federal probe into a 2010 land deal orchestrated by former Burlington College president Jane Sanders, who is the wife of Bernie Sanders, has deepened. Vermont Digger has confirmed that a grand jury has compelled sworn witness testimony in the case. The Vermont U.S. Attorney's Office has interviewed at least one witness before the grand jury to determine whether indictments should be handed down. Now, whether or not indictments are actually handed down, I don't know. We are talking Vermont. But Vermonters are big on their overpriced institutes of higher learning. And if you screw around with one, you're going to piss off the liberal elitists, no matter who you are. Well, it's just the same as here in Massachusetts, or New England is big on their overpriced elitist institutes of higher learning, whether they be private, prep schools or colleges or universities. Doesn't matter. You mess with any of them, you're going to piss them off, and they're going to go after you. It doesn't matter. I mean, you had former Governor Hassan was embroiled in the middle of a scandal because her husband was connected to Phillips Exeter Academy, which had a sex scandal over there, and supposedly he knew about it. And that was an issue. And people were wondering and worried that this scandal might affect Hassan running for Senate. Evidently, it did not. They cleared up the scandal way before the election, so it was dropped. But it could have been a big issue for her. And she probably, along with some in the New Hampshire Democratic Party, urged them to fix it fast, which they did, by the way. Not going to lie, they fixed it pretty damn fast. At least his responsibilities that were involved in the scandal were fixed pretty damn fast. And that's the way it usually goes. And finally today, Detroit Free Press is reporting embezzlement plagues union offices around the U.S., so records show. Oh, say it isn't so. As UAW, Fiat, Chrysler, and federal investigators unravel a scandal over the misappropriation of millions of dollars meant for worker training, federal records show that embezzling from union offices is endemic around the country. Oh, you don't say. All those dollars and pennies that flow into union coffers couldn't possibly be used for illicit reasons. As in, sending some of these union bosses on exotic vacations, using it to pay off some of the union bosses' debts. And some of these union bosses probably have embezzled the money in order to save their own lives because they got into trouble with you-know-who. But it is what it is, folks. Of course, if it's a leftist, there's probably a scandal involved. Honestly. Just learned of a Oprah Winfrey scandal. We'll cover that tomorrow. So you're going to want to hear, yes, Oprah Winfrey was embroiled in a scandal, but they'll probably cover that up as fast as they possibly can, too. But we'll uncover it here on the Rod Eccles Show. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.